Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is SEC, and tonight we'll be having a look at the two games that were on today for Anzac Day. Sadly, I missed the Essendon Collingwood game, which turned out to be an absolute thriller because I was playing golf, which went dismally. You know, being a social golfer, you're hoping to at least go out there and have a bit of fun. And I did get to the point where it was, not horrible. You hit some good shots and you feel good. And now I've gone stop played for a while and starting to come back, and it's just all lost again. And I was 40 minutes from my house, so by the time I got home, the game was already over, and a bit of a slow one on the course today, but looks like there's a little bit to talk about with the scores that we had. So Essendon Collingwood, a very, very close game. And what we got from it was a big score from Dacos. One that's probably maybe putting a lot of us at ease who started him, but even better for those who didn't, because they've got Dacos at that discount price now. And he's very gettable. We're seeing a turnaround. He looks to be scoring a bit better, although I didn't see this game. He must be looking a bit fresher as well, which is good. And then as far as Collingwood goes, looking at these scores, there's nothing huge here. I mean, like the De Goey fans are... Did De Goey not play? Yeah, I know. Yeah, De Goey's there. 75. Sorry. Didn't think he played because his score was a bit lower down. But yeah, anyone who went De Goey at the start would be frustrated. But looking at this, not much else. The ruck department here is not what it was a couple of years ago, where Darcy Cameron was a huge pick for a lot of the forwards. I guess that Harvey Harrison came as the sub, and it seems like Tom Mitchell must have gone out with an injury quite early. What's his tog look like? 56%. So that is time of ground, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. Yeah. 56%, so not great. But good to see another rookie coming on, which we might be able to get. And he actually scored quite decently, which means he must have got quite a bit of the ball. Might have been able to throw in the midfield a bit. I'm not sure. Yeah, hard for me to say much about this, so I'm not going to spend too much time on the Collingwood Essendon game. But looks like I missed a really good game, which is flattening. But can't do everything around football. But I was able to catch the GWS one, which we'll be able to talk a bit more about. But Essendon, so McGrath pumped in that last quarter. I was keeping track of the scores while I was playing golf because we did have a lot of stops, so we were kind of sitting there a little bit waiting. And McGrath really pumped in that last quarter. Merritt had a good score, so we did say that, expected Merritt to probably go all right, and he did, which is good for those who had him. I was kind of hoping he would just put up a maybe lower 100 score, but those who paid the 660 grand for him last week would be happy with this bounce back score. Probably played less than the forward line by the look of this, and with how close it was, I can see how that would have happened. As I said yesterday, Darcy Parish loves to pop up in the Anzac game and have a big one, and he did so again today. He looked like he was probably going to go, when I was tracking the scores, going with 150, and ending up with a 125 is probably a little bit disappointing for him, but he's bounced back. So this is one of those options we do have to get on, or that people want to get on, because his price is down in the low 500s. Let's have a look at Parish's break even here. So Parish's break even is looking like, he's 501, and he's going to go down money. So you could get a 490k Parish. Whether you trust it is the hard thing, because he's had an 80, 72, 61, and 84. And these are against relatively easy matchups. I guess like he came off injury to start, so maybe he was getting a bit of fitness, but yeah, it's an interesting one. It is an option for something different. Essendon also have a quite easy run, and that's why a lot of people were picking Merritt. So I wouldn't totally disregard it. You might want to wait another week, because I assume like his break even will be low, but not too low that you can't pick him the week after if he does go well. and he'll probably be, 520, 530 then, which is still cheap for a guy like Darcy Parish, who, did a lot better last year and could still score well from here. I think he was one of the very good picks last year or the year before, where if you got on him at his low, it was like he averaged 120 in the back end or something ridiculous. Looking here, maybe it wasn't this one. It might have been the year before, but I just remember he was like, oh no, it was in 2022. Everyone went to jump on him, and then he did that calf after he went huge through the middle here, and then he did this calf here, 51. Did not play. Came back to people held him through those 2 weeks. He was back, and then he just didn't play for ages. So, obviously the thing with Parish is the risk of injury, because he does seem to do last year or the year before was a caught calf, which you can't do much about. But yeah, at his price, I think he is going to be an interesting one that people who are trying to get something different for a bit cheaper with a decent run of games coming up will go for. Nick Martin, so he's just chugging along. As we said, he's probably going to be in that top 6 of defenders, and he's proving again today. I heard he did play in the forward line though, which is a bit concerning, and he's kicked a goal there, which has probably helped as well. But you love the tog. 97% is beautiful. You don't get that with many players at all. 73% disposal efficiency, so probably quite a good game for him regarding disposal efficiency, I would say. And he got a lot of it still, so maybe they're running him up a bit further, but we wanted him in the back line because he was a big sweeper back there. But it might not be worth seeing. I'll have to keep an eye on that next week. I think Caldwell was an interesting one that some people were looking at in the forward line as well, because I think he was relatively cheap. So Caldwell. Oh no, he's 479k, but I think he's getting a lot of mid-time. Obviously, Scott's trying to get these guys in there, and his 3-round average is pretty good. So he's probably one we could look at. I mean, that 67.72 to start isn't great, which is a little bit worrying, but he's pulled it back a little bit, and they do have that run, which I think is what people are concerned about. Even if it's a short-term one where you then have him on the bench at the end once we get teams full, because there's the possibility of getting big money and being able to get several premiums on the bench, but we'll see what happens there. Otherwise, Redmond coming off the contract has been quite a dismal for Supercoach. Interesting to see how his role changes when Ridley does eventually come back, whether it frees him up a bit, whether this is the, Redmond's struggling with the same thing that Ridley did last year, where he is having to play a bit more lockdown instead, and it's hurting him, and that Ridley kind of frees him up a bit. But that'll be something to be seen. And then, Jones, what's this, injured? So Harrison Jones was back, who I think people were pretty happy with, but it's a broken nose, so I guess I'm not sure and he looks like he was pretty damaging in their forward line if he kicked a bit straighter. And Nick Hine would be going down money, and I'd assume Davey Jr. would be. So, but with these new rookies that have been brought in this week, we've actually got a few that we'll be able to put through and have a pick on next week. So or the week after. So it's not as dire as what it did seem like it was going to be. Now the Giant Brisbane game. So Tom Green is back. Hopefully he can keep some form up, because for what we paid for him, and it's really annoying because he's just let that price go back to where he's quite attainable, and now it's like, oh, big score, jump on him now, get the price up again, and annoying for us who started him, and it seemed like that with a few players like him and Bont are coming down, and Dacos and stuff like that. But I guess that's always the issue with picking these overpriced players to start. So Josh Kelly, Josh Kelly, what's he been scoring and what's he priced at? Because I think I did look at him briefly this week as an option. It's just the injury stuff that always makes me not want to go in. But man, he's been playing well. I wonder if Cornelio coming back affects him. But 110 3 round. His only poor game's been really against West Coast. I mean, when I say poor, like really poor, I mean like you know 97, 95 is not what you're wanting from your midfielder, but 2 games in a row of 130 is encouraging for him. Injury is always a risk. He always seems to find an injury, but he does look very nice, especially from what I saw. Finn Callanan, he's just getting a lot of the ball. I think once Coles come back, they'll probably drop off a little bit. Yeah, Whitfield is so surprising to see that he ended up on 125, but I guess that's what happens when Brisbane kind of fell off in that last half, because he was the Brisbane were quite close with GWS, especially coming up into the half. They kicked 3 or 4 goals in that second quarter, and Whitfield was sharking everything, and he's just getting handball receives and quick kicks, and they keep missing, so he get kick outs, and he was just everywhere. But obviously, it dropped off a bit in the last half with what was going on, and that saw his scoring get affected, I guess. So then Harvey Thomas was the rookie. No, Harvey Thomas was not the rookie. Who was the rookie that started? Darcy Jones. So Darcy Jones kicked a goal with his first kick. He looked, might not have been his first kick actually. He kicked 2 as well. So that's good. But he came in, had a goal in the first quarter, and he looks really, really quick off there. In their forward line. It'll be interesting to see whether he holds, but I assume Toby Green will just straight be back in, and it will take an injury for him to get in. Harvey Thomas looks really good. If you had him as a rookie, you'd be really happy. Coming down here, there's not really much else that we really talk about. This is probably the one that annoyed me the most, Cadman. So, right, with playing golf, coming back late, got home, had a shower, and then I was like getting ready to watch the footy, and I was like, I wonder what time the game starts, and already started, and I was like, fuck. All right, I'll sit down and watch it. And then I went into my team and went, I've got him on field. And yeah, he to make it worse, then I found out Harris Andrews was he was on Harris Andrews trying to negate him, and it was a really hard one to watch. He does try works very hard, and this, he's got 5 disposals tonight, 5 tackles and 2 frees against and 1 goal. Efficiency wasn't even that good, and he still got it up to a 53. So I applaud it for that. There must have been a lot of those 1%ers that we missed, but yeah, man, having Cadman in was just like a strain to watch on the field. Probably not my first pick, especially knowing Lazaro with the teams is now named on field, which I hope means he's not the sub, but it could always mean he's subbed out. The only other one I have was Garcia, who looks pretty good, but I'm going to be able to loop him if he goes well, depending on how him and Wilson go anyway. So, because Reed isn't playing, so that's good at least, but bit of a frustrating watch, but 53 is not absolutely terrible. I think I just got a bit used to the fact that we had the best 18s optimize the team after making some trades, and didn't realize that they'd projected Cameron would go 76 against Brisbane, which I think that was a pretty ridiculous projection, considering Brisbane are probably one of the defense you'd say are actually quite good. It's not like he's playing like a North or something, and he has gone over 76 a few times, and his floor has been about 60, but I thought 76 was a bit rich. But anyway, 53 is not the worst, and we'll move on from that and learn to check our loopholes and whatever setups we have. You never know. The other rookies that people could have to go with could go worse, so it's not the end of the world. Brett Daniels didn't even come on as sub, so And shows a level of confidence from Kingsley, I guess, in these guys like Thomas and Jones, that they're doing well and possibly could continue to get games. So then we have Brisbane, and as you can see, the scoring is pretty bleak, other than Dunkley. Neil got really roughed up. There was one point in the second quarter where like him and Ward just kept going at each other, and then he gave a 50 away, retaliating. And at one point he got legged by Ward, and then Dunkley came and like knocked him over and gave reversed a free kick to him, and like a lot going on there. And I don't know whether he just got under his skin. But the Brisbane's just one of these Supercoach teams, football teams that are becoming a little less relevant for Supercoach as the weeks go by. Longman had a drop-off game if you had him as a rookie, 46, but like he kicked an early goal. So if they'd been on the winning end of this probably would have been a lot better. For those who went Dane Zorko, he got moved forward, which would be really frustrating. But when the team's got names, seeing McKenna in should have probably put alarm bells for that, and probably should have seen a switch back. Tunstall was the sub, came on, it looks like, because Archie was injured. So I don't know how much 13 affects his scoring, but I think he was on the bubble next week. But it's probably when you stay away because the job security just isn't there. And yeah, like you got guys like McCluggage and like Berry and stuff, and you waiting for him to, I guess, take that next step to be maybe relevant as a midfield. But it looks like it's just like only Dunkley here that is even a possibility of maybe choosing. And I even think he's had pretty off games at times. There is one rookie here actually that we all missed, and I feel like I actually looked at him, but then went, I'm not sure about job security. Noah Answorth, I think like the amount of money he has gone up, I reckon, is probably 150k now, and he's scoring well, and he's a defender forward. So he's probably going to go up close to 40. What do you go? 75. So he's going to go up 45k, which is going to take him to 160k. His break even's going to probably be negative still? Yeah, 0. And he's got Gold Coast, Adelaide, Richmond, Hawthorn. Like, that's just a ridiculous miss. He's played the whole year. He had the 80, went 37. And this 37 is probably what turned off a lot of people from picking him. He didn't play round 0. So that's another, or did he? Or maybe he didn't. They just don't have the scores here, actually. Wait a minute. Who else played round 0? Collingwood. Dacos would have played. Okay, so they do the round 0 scores. So he just didn't play. And, probably job security and the 1% of teams that got him in would be very happy because, look at these scores. 80, the 37's bleak, but like at that point it was best 18. And if you had something like that, probably wasn't even the worst score you fielded that week. Then he went 62, 77, 116 and back to a 75 this week. And he's playing off the defense, which is a role we like. And as a forward line, like rookie, if I had Answorth after last week, I'd have him on field and made sure he's on field over Cadman. But I feel like one of the reasons also I didn't change this was because I was unaware of what Lazaro was going to do. And I was pretty happy to loot both Wilson and Garcia and see who goes best. But D'Ambrosio named, which is good. So that's really all there is to talk about the games tonight, really. We'll go and have a look at quickly at the teams. So team lineups. So there's actually a few things that are interesting here. So the first 3 games are over. So Dylan Williams is in for Port. He was a rookie that we all missed. And Soldo is injured, which means Sweet is getting full ruck time now. And he's looking like, a good trade down option for me next week. I don't know what's the Jordan Sweet. Sorry. Let's have a look. I heard the rumors about Soldo. Why is he out? News. Soldo injury. He's done a knee. Ooh. Miss at least a month of football. So what's that? 3 games. Is that enough though? Because like, right, if say Soldo misses another 3 games, another 4 games after this, so Sweet's price now at 158. Say he misses another 3. Now the cash is one thing that's really good. Like you trade down Meek, you cash it in for Sweet, especially if Sweet goes big. I think if he goes like a 90, it's going to be really hard to say no, or like 90 plus. It's going to be really hard to say no to this. But you go Meek down, that's what, 300k banked because he's only played 1 game. And then you can spend that, wherever you want. The interesting thing is like how much money are you making, because then you have to upgrade him later. So he'll be like 260k, which is still like awkward. And then what happens if he stops playing? Like, there's so many things to think about here. If it was like 2-month injury and got you to the buys, I think it's like a lot more plausible to pick. Now, these obviously only take into effect his last score, but still, I guess this could be like 300 or 400, 350k, maybe not as bad. I don't know. I think it's going to depend on what he scores this week. What is it? Does it say here what it actually is? He's got some history with knees and he's given it a bang, so it's a contact injury. I don't know. Probably going to have to listen to some presses. If Sweet plays really well, it's going to be hard to not want to go him. But I think this also sets up you picking Marshall as a VC. I think that that's one definitely to stick with. So let's hope here that Hasty is the sub, because we'll be bringing Garcia. What's Williams worth? He was a really good rookie last year, Williams. He's just a defender. He was a forward last year and he averaged like 80-ish, which was really good. I'm surprised he wasn't straight into the team because he was like pretty favored. Like he went 64, 51, then 37, and people were actually thinking about him here. And then he went 85, 85, 81, 84. Like you got 4 games of 80s. He had this 36 down gamer that went 84, 68, 69, and 110. And you were making money all the way to there. So, yeah, I really liked that from him last year, but didn't get him in. But pretty stock standard here. Otherwise, Dixon in. So, yeah, obviously lost Soldo and got Sweet. But not much else to talk about here. So Riley Hardiman is another new player. They are just testing their players a lot. So Newen has survived, and Hardiman looks like a defender, does he? Have I spelled that wrong? We'll close these two now. Hard demon. So 117k defender. Don't know much about him, but could be very interesting. Although, what's his job security like is probably the thing, because like Sellers has been dropped, but he had 2 pretty, especially from Supercoach, shockers. But yeah, my man Lazaro is on field, which is good. Shees was named on a half forward. Oh God, I hope that does not come to fruition, but they did flag this may be happening. Him being moved around to support, guys like McKercher and getting on the ball a bit more. Don't love that. In power. So I'm thinking it's probably looking like maybe a Drury or Phillips sub. And then the rest of it's probably going to stay as is. Wardlaw back in. And Phillips is still in. So that, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be holding power for much longer the way he's going to go. He'd have to get a lot of CBAs this week. Otherwise, it's just like not really one that you want to go for, to be honest. In keeping, I just feel like he's not going to have the scoring potential he had when he was getting 80% CBAs or whatever it was Power was getting without Phillips on the team. And the Crows have brought back Crouch, Edler, and Himmelberg. So Golant got omitted. Do I love that? Not really, especially if it's for Elliot Himmelberg. Oh, what did Himmelberg seemed like just this big hold of trade bait for potentially his brother coming over, which Harry signed. GWS because GWS gave him the defensive role, which he wanted. And I feel like Elliott's main use is just the fact he's so tall. I don't know why they're bringing him in for this game because it's not like North like terrorize you with big defenders. I mean, they've got some big guys in Comben, maybe that I'm like Comben and Core, like and even Ewan, but like I feel like these two just get covered by Fogarty and Walker and Arthur. It's just a bit strange. I don't know. What's going in the defense here? Nothing really named differently in their defense. Led still named on ball. Keys will go forward a bit. Rankin will probably start in the middle, which has been pretty regular for them. Hamill's still named. So if you're wanting to go Hamill, 141k, if he wasn't a defender, I'd be thinking about it. But I think you should think about it because I think he does have the ability to go like 60 to 70 if he gets it together and if the Crows have a good schedule coming up. So one to think about. So Geelong, Stewart injured, Toby Conway omitted, which is a reason why none of us could really pick him. Clark omitted. This is what I was very worried about. Clark getting omitted, why I traded him last week, because he was losing money. He was already pushed back to the sub and he wasn't playing necessarily great there. And now he's actually fully out of the team. It just seems like it's hard for him to get back in. Like they need an injury. Guthrie was one that a lot of people were looking at starting at the start of the year. And I think that a lot of people will think about it if he goes well because he's like, oh, I don't know why it's doing that. Press that. So Guthrie's 420. That was like one of those starting picks that a lot of people were thinking about in the mids, especially because their midfield was so depleted. But definitely comes with caution because of his injuries. Stanley back in for Conway. And the surprising thing is, like, Carlton have, like, the two really big forwards and even, like, they're playing the two rucks with Pittner and De Koning. So it's, like, kind of interesting that they've decided not to bring in another big, like, leave in maybe Conway. But especially with Stewart out, like, this is, like, such a dream shot for Carlton against Geelong because their forwards are going to be able to run rampant. Feel Sam De Koning's very, very good and he'll be able to do a role, and like Jack Henry as well. But like, I don't know who takes. I guess De Koning isn't extremely dangerous yet as a forward, but I think he's coming along quite well. Still see Geelong, winning. Yeah, Geelong's team's pretty strong this week. Probably see Geelong winning it, but not surprised if Carlton do. Walsh named midfield, Hewitt named midfield, Cripps named midfield. Actually, big thing for Carlton, no Chera. No Chera named. That's good for Walsh. But if you're trading in Walsh, know that Chera comes back at some point and that could directly affect him. So just be careful of that. Sanders omitted. Fuck me. Fucking hell. I honestly, like, Bevo, mate. Like, he's not even named, like, in emergencies. Like, I just don't see how Sanders has been at all bad enough to get dropped. When he was playing, he's getting the ball. Mate, it must just not be fitting into what his structure of team is. Like, God, how do you drop? I just don't see it. Like, honestly, he's been a very good rookie, I think, and I think like pretty harshly handled to be fully dropped. Subbed and dropped, and now not even the team. Like, surely there's guys playing worse than him. Like, why are we playing Harms over Sanders? Like, who's going to be that? Like, I know Harms is only like 25, 26 or something like that, but Jesus Christ. Get the games into guys like Sanders. He just must not have a good relationship with Bevo, and it just must be very loggerheads, especially with Sanders coming out and questioning things. And in like presses. Like I think he wouldn't like that. But still, God. Anyway, that's enough about that. Fremantle. So more new faces for Fremantle. But otherwise, the guys are being dropped. Quite a few rookies that were interesting. Dirt, Erasmus, Amiss is injured. But we'll see with Austin Cooper Simpson. But it just seems like the same thing. They're just guys who, as soon as players come back or as soon as they have a bad game, they get dropped. So I think it's watch this space on them. They have to like dominate a game and then be like, all right, we've got something here. Let's just play it. So, yeah, can't believe Santa's been dropped fully. Gold Coast. So these are extended benches now. Atkins, Sexton, Dade, McPherson, more. So, extended bench is probably the important one here because Closey and Graham is named in the midfield as a follower. Closey's in. Hopefully they don't change this from what it is. Flanders on a back flank again. Very, very interesting, I think. To see what they do here. Sexton back in, you'd be happy if you've got him, but I wonder if he possibly drop money. That would be nice. Swallow seems to be their sub candidate. And what Atkins must be getting a game and Day. Moyle probably won't. And probably Holman. They love Holman. So is Fiorini an option? I don't think so. Seems like he's been on the outer, but yeah, be interesting to see if Sexton gets a game for people who have him. Liam Ryan back in, man. As people have been seeing these like real like TikToks going around of Liam Ryan as a carpet selling advertising carpets, like they're bloody funny, and it's like is Liam blink twice if you're being held here against your will or something like that. Like so funny because they just seem like he's just like they're like, yeah, carpet's really good. Come down, get a carpet, and it's just so funny. But yeah, so for them, West Coast, Barras suspended, Reed being managed, God knows why. No, I know why, but he just seems like he's on fire. Let him play, let the boy play. But yeah, generational player, you're gonna manage him. Surely he wants to play though, and no long injured. Yeah, so Ryan's been named on field, so he's definitely playing. I wonder if there's a discount. I feel like Ryan hasn't played for a while. Is he like a discounted forward? 294K. Yeah, you're never thinking of that. But I was thinking like if he's had 200, he's probably got job security, which is something we're probably lacking. But yeah, nothing more to really talk about until these are finalised, really. Hawthorn, I got Will Day named in. So that's good for the midfield, good for Meek, hopefully. Getting some someone with some more knockdowns. Bad for Hustwaite, I would say. Because this team, I think Seamus Mitchell looked all right last week. Harry Morrison played really well. Mitch Lewis is going to play. And Day. So what is it? From this, I read that it's probably Sarong, Ramson, Hustwaite, and McDonald who missed with, I would suggest a Connor McDonald was good last week, I thought. But yeah, I assume it's a Hustwaite sub, which will see him go down more. So once it does turn around for him, hopefully he gets some actual game time and we can get him as maybe a rookie. Sydney, so I don't think any of these guys play, do they? I think it's just like Roberts, McLean, Wicks, and probably Fox. Campbell's probably in there, and then one of these, probably Fox and Wicks, are probably your subs. I would suggest, but I mean, all of this will get finalised tomorrow, and we'll know for sure. But yeah, I don't see Sydney changing too much, especially against a team like Hawthorn. So, with that, another long video, I guess. But some important stuff to look at. yeah, obviously the one for me, the bad score is 53, but 53 is not the worst. I don't know who a lot of the other teams are playing there anyway. Like 67% who have Cam and I got him on field, and he's 25% owned still. So interesting to see. But maybe, a lot of other teams have been able to get an extra primo on and push him out, which is something that I've kind of waited on in this team. So yeah, pretty happy with like Dacos and Martin and Green, obviously, but like, none of these guys are uber potty. Dacos 72. Martin's still pretty potty, like 90% still pretty crazy for this guy. I think. I mean, I guess his price is probably getting out of reach. And then Green went down money after scoring a 159. Jesus. So he's gonna not go down to what people could have got. So it's still gonna be like 580, which is like, I guess it's not worst case. Because 580 would have been like, 550 would have been so cheap for Tom Green. That's nearly what that 550, he cost what, 530 last year when people were getting him in at the start. So, yeah. Hopefully another big score next week. And he's got Sydney next week. So he'll want to throw his weight around. And he's got a really good average over the last 3 against them. So hopefully that goes well. Yeah. So hopefully if you didn't go VC Gorn, you went VC Green, because at the end of the day you didn't lose much. Let's have a look at this. Actually, I actually don't think many people did it, because I think a lot of people are looking at Bont. So if you wanted to know, you can come and see whose captains are. People have got captains by going to players. If you have Supercoach Plus, you go down to all coaches, then you just press the most VC. So most VC was Gorn. And Green, yeah, 5% of coaches went Green. So, they're not losing much, I guess. And that's why I was kind of saying, like, go for something a bit interesting. So most popular captain is still Bont with, Livingston here, because everyone's getting the loop. But yeah, Heaney could still go really well, but you're really risking it going that late captain. I guess from here, like, the VC options are really like Rao. Who's the popular VC options left? Petrarca, which I think's, yeah, okay. Petrarca against Richmond. Jesus, that was 4%. Yeah, so bad one for those people. I guess Butters is that one. Merritt only went 120, so, people aren't losing a huge amount, but I feel like a lot of people went this and had it locked in. So anyway, that's it for me today. Just wanted to jump on and get this one done, get something out there for you. These have been probably my best reception videos as far as views and, comments going. So I really appreciate people watching it. Yeah, I'd like to thank all the new subscribers. If you'd like to subscribe, go ahead and do so. Cost you nothing, and, good for me to build up some more people to see my content. Because, yeah, always good to take in some different point of views, because everyone's, different regarding risk, and everyone has favorites, and it might be just based on what people talk about and how they talk about it and what they see, I guess. But, yeah. Anyway, hope your weekend's going, well, it's not the weekend. Yeah, it feels like the weekend. I've got the next few days off, luckily for me. But for those going to work, I hope you enjoyed the footy today, and hope it's not too hard a Friday and it's pretty chill. I'm actually going to the St Kilda game tomorrow, Port St Kilda game. So I don't know who I want to win, but hopefully get to see. Well, I don't really have anyone. Hopefully Butters fails for my sake, but I can see him having a big game. Love watching him. Hopefully Wanganui actually goes really well. That would be good to see. And Garcia and Wilson go well as well, so that we can get some money pumping. But anyway, that's enough from me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.